All right, welcome back to the channel. Big update. The rematch between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach appears that it is on, because that is what Lamont Roach's team says after they took a big loss in the New York State Athletic Commission. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. We are almost back to normal. Soon we'll be able to talk about other issues related to the sport of boxing. The big card coming up in April with Devin Haney fighting Jose Ramirez on the undercard. Teofimo Lopez fighting Arnold Barbosa on an undercard. And Ryan Garcia starring another show with the fight against Rolly Romero. Definitely looking forward to that. However, in the grand scheme of things, that's the little leagues. The big leagues is the guy that just sold out in New York at the Barclays Center, had over 19,250 people at the gate, had the second highest gate ever in the Barclays Center, and my understanding did over 500,000 pay-per-views against Lamont Roach, and that's Gervonta Davis. As you know, their fight ended in a draw. And Lamont Roach filed an appeal to the New York State Athletic Commission to attempt to get the fight overturned and the decision changed from a draw to a win for Lamont Roach. Lamont Roach's argument was that Gervonta Davis had taken a knee. That should have been counted as a 10-8 round. If it was counted as a 10-8 round, that would have changed the outcome of the fight. He also argued that because Tank had hair grease in his hair and it got in his eye, that hair grease should be determined to be a hazardous substance, and Gervonta Davis should be disqualified because he brought it in the ring. And the third thing that he claimed was that Gervonta Davis, the last one was that Gervonta Davis should be disqualified because he turned his back on the ref and got his face wiped off without permission. Well, the New York State Athletic Commission came back and they said that they did agree that that was an error on the New York State Athletic Commission's part and Steve Willis's part, and said, yes, that should have been a 10-8 round, but they declined to change the judgment, to change the ruling. So the ruling will stay a draw. Everything else is over. Gervonta Davis remains the champion. And now we're on to the rematch. And again, we can now talk about the rematch and the other things going on in boxing, because the critics of Gervonta Davis for a minute should be shutting up. Because now that this has been a draw, Gervonta Davis has done everything these guys have claimed that he wouldn't do. He's now fought, I do believe, 2 black fighters in a row, something that Devin Haney fans and haters of Gervonta Davis were up in arms about. He never fights black fighters. All he does is fight flat-footed Mexicans. Devin Haney is the one that is out there fighting everybody and doing everything. Meanwhile, how many black folk did Devin Haney fight? Who was it? Regis Prograis? He fought Regis Prograis. That's the only one I can think of in a long time. Meanwhile, Gervonta Davis fought American black fighters back-to-back, and Frank Martin and Lamont Roach. And Lamont Roach was a reigning world champion. So hopefully people will not be continually arguing and saying that what Gervonta Davis doesn't do. After the fight with Lamont Roach, people were talking about he's not going to rematch him. If he rematches him, he says it's not going to be in New York. He won't rematch him. Well, now the Lamont Roach team is saying that he's going to give him the rematch. There you go. He also did something Floyd Mayweather did, which is give somebody a rematch after they consider it something to be a close fight, right? Is anybody else doing that? Did Devin do that? Did Devin fight Lomachenko after that rematch Lomachenko after that close fight? No. Did Devin Haney rematch Ryan Garcia after Ryan Garcia thumped him up? Not yet, and is actively saying he has no interest in fighting Ryan Garcia again. Interesting stuff. Canelo Alvarez, has he rematched Dimitri Bivol? No, he's not rematched Dimitri Bivol. Did he rematch Erislandy Lara? No. Did he rematch Austin Trout? No. Plenty of instances of people having fights. Oscar De La Hoya had a lot of rematches. Did he rematch Felix Sturm when he got that gift decision at 160 for that I believe it was for the WBO belt that he won against, or maybe it was the WBA belt. I can't remember which one it was, but he won it from Felix Sturm of Germany. Many people, including myself, thought Oscar De La Hoya clearly lost that fight. Did he do a rematch with Felix Sturm? No, he didn't. He went on to fight the guy he said he was going to fight, which is Bernard Hopkins. So plenty of evidence of a lot of Hall of Famers that didn't rematch guys where they had fights that were tough fights. Matter of fact, Muhammad Ali, my favorite fighter of all time, one of my favorite people of all time, he didn't rematch George Foreman. He rematched Norton. He rematched Frazier. He rematched what's the name? Patterson, Floyd Patterson. He rematched Floyd Patterson. He even rematched Bob Foster. Not Bob Foster. What's the guy? The British guy. The British guy that knocked him down. He didn't rematch the light heavyweight Bob Foster, but pretty other instances of guys not taking rematches when they feel like, hey, man, maybe the style isn't what I really needed to be. Hey, I got that. I got by that one. Ooh, let me slide by and get on. Plenty of people have done that. In this particular instance, Gervonta Davis is not doing that. So I certainly hope these people give him credit and they don't go back to the lies that they were telling beforehand, which was that Gervonta Davis is fighting Lamont Roach because Lamont Roach is a terrible fighter. He doesn't belong in the ring. He's a C- fighter, and all of the other things that people were saying about Lamont Roach going into that fight. Hopefully, going into this fight, they won't say that. They can just get ready and with their scorecards, and any round that Gervonta Davis does not win by knockdown, they can go ahead and give that a 10 round to Lamont Roach, like they did in the last fight. Because for all of the people being upset about the outcome of that fight, many people had Gervonta Davis winning that fight. But the people that had Gervonta Davis winning the fight didn't necessarily make a big to-do about it because they knew he underperformed. But then we immediately got drowned by the fraud controversy over that drop knee. And I'm telling you, it's a fraud controversy. Not saying that it wasn't true that he put his knee down and that if it wasn't, that there wasn't a very good reason for Steve Willis to deduct a point. The fact of the matter is, though, that those type of things happen in boxing all the time. People turn their back, somebody gets dropped and takes a knee. The referee rules that knee a slip. One big famous, example of that is when Aegis Kalvanakis clipped Terrence Crawford, and Terrence Crawford went down to a knee. He went down to a knee because he lost his balance. The referee called it a slip. Not a whole lot of people, a few people said something about that knockdown, but it's not anything that lasted a long time. Matter of fact, there was very little stuff said outside of my channel about when Terrence Crawford's entire glove blew up in the middle of a fight with David Avanesyan. They didn't even stop the fight. They stopped the fight for a second and let him continue for the rest of the round with a glove that had stuffing pouring out of it. No outrage about that from certain sectors. But anyway, with this rematch, hopefully they'll get it soon. Hopefully it can get done in May or June. And we can see another great fight and another great fight card. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.